Good morning, guys. Just woke up about an hour ago. Washed my clothes in the gym bathroom last night, and they're hanging to dry. Found this nice little spot. I'm in a hotel parking lot and got a nice little view of the valley here. I'm in Lewiston, Idaho. Yeah, just rolled in here yesterday evening. This is rare, but I don't really know how I want to spend the day. Think I'm going to go to the library and work on some online work. But beyond that, I don't know. I'm fasting today, so I don't have the joy of eating today. I worked out yesterday, so my body is sore, so I won't go to the gym. I guess I could find a place to hike in the evening. Yeah, when I look on Google Maps, if I search for trailhead, I can usually find trails, and looks like there's probably lots of places to hike around here. Yeah, usually my days are very focused and mission oriented, but today is just not like that. It's kind of like up in the air. I feel a little uneasy about that, but I mean that's what comes with a lifestyle that's where you have no set pattern, same day in and out. I mean, kind of every day is different here. In a way, I kind of miss my life in Miami because I mean that was a tough job. I was on my feet 8 hours a day. It was a bit stressful at times being a team lead, but there was routine, and there was some kind of a relief after work, oh, I can finally rest, and it was a good balance, I guess. Just the work was could get monotonous at times, lots of standing, and I'm not a good stander, just when I stand for a long time, the feet and my legs and my back just go to crap. Yeah, so this was my view last night, but it was all city lights. It was beautiful, man. And I'll show you why I chose this parking spot, kind of what my thinking was. So there's a barrier here and then another building up here. This is east. I knew that when the sun was rising this morning, it wouldn't be beaming down on my car. Plus, I had this beautiful view, night view, and it's still beautiful. Looks like a valley out here. So the landscape here looks pretty arid. I was hoping for lush forests and rolling mountains, but we'll see. We'll see how it is going southward. I don't think it's gonna get like deciduous or lush forest. I think it's gonna be more of this. I want to show you guys who are doing car life or van life a pro tip. So I showed you my wet laundry hanging inside the car. So I just put it on these bushes. And these bushes, I don't know what they are, but they have a nice effervescent smell. And this is what they would do in Uganda. People would just put their clothes on bushes or on the grass. But I like these bushes because it's a little bit windy, so it keeps the bushes kind of snag into the clothes, keep them from blowing off. And then you also get that great smell absorbing into the clothes. Still deciding how to do my day. It's like it can go in a bunch of different directions. There's a suburb outside of Boise that would take me about 5 hours to get to, so I might just drive there. But I don't have to take off quite yet. I'd like to arrive around 7, so I have still a couple hours to kill. I'm gonna call my mom. I'm thinking to either let me get the background here. I'm thinking either to go on a jog or go to the library and apply for some more jobs online. I'm still figuring things out. Yeah, you know, like when your life isn't in a daily routine where it's just like the same thing day in and day out, and like you're traveling like this and moving around and doing different stuff, it's like you constantly gotta be making decisions and figuring things out. You know, what am I gonna do? What do I want to do? How do I get the things I need? You know, for me, it's not too complicated. It's basically, it was windy out there. I decided to come into the shade. Like I was saying, I don't need much. It's pretty simple. I just need food, which is everywhere here in America. I need to take a shower once in a while and a library to do work. Really simple. Don't need a lot. And speaking of simple, my Patreon is really simple. Only $7, guys. Thanks for all you that joined. I put a new post up so you can make video requests, and I'll make a video on that topic for patrons only, so check that out. Otherwise, I got a ton of content there for you guys that haven't seen it yet. All right, I decided to head out. I'm gonna head south. I don't know how far I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna take you guys on the journey and we'll have a little talk. What's up, guys? I'm heading south down US 95. That's in Idaho. So I started in Lewiston, Idaho, and I'm heading south. So I don't know what kind of scenery we're going to get into, but this is it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my first days living in my car, what it was like. So I kind of had to get my car prepped at first, and two non-negotiables for me were that I needed privacy when I was sleeping at night, when I was living in my car, you know, cooking dinner, just like you would want in your own room in your house. You just want privacy. And I wanted that in a car, and cars have windows all around them, so I had to figure out how to get that privacy. So first I got the windows tinted, and I paid over $300 for that. And I was so stupid. You know, I followed the letter of the law in Florida, and I got the windows exactly tinted to the maximum legal amount. And I say it's stupid because nobody in Florida follows that damn law. Everybody gets their windows so tinted you can't even see inside their car. Even the police do it. And even when I left Florida, everybody's getting their damn windows tinted to the degree that you can't see inside. I wish I had done that. I mean, I paid over $300 to get them tinted. I might as well have gotten them tinted to the degree where I would have that level of privacy. But I followed the law. I didn't want to risk being pulled over by the police. I didn't want to give the police any reason to pull me over. Oh, and by the way, that's one thing that blew my mind. You know, I'm coming back to America after 26 years. Oh, and in case this is your first time listening to seeing or listening to one of my videos, I went overseas when I was young. So I lived almost all my adult life overseas. Was overseas for 26 years. So I'm coming back to America after 26 years. And one thing that blew my mind in Florida, where there were just police everywhere. You know, now that I'm not in Florida, I might see a police car once, twice a week. There in Florida, my life in Florida, you see like 5 a day, 5+ a day. That's in Naples, right? You go over to Miami, it's like you're seeing like 20 police cars a day. And I didn't even know this, but they have undercover police as well. So you don't even know they're police. Lots of police there. Anyways, yeah, and even the police, they tint their windows over the legal limit. But anyways, I'm trying to be a little good boy, and you know, I got my windows tinted just enough to meet the legal limits. And so to compensate for that, to get that extra privacy, what I did is I went to Walmart and I bought window shades, but they're all for the front windshield, right? And I bought these ones that are silver on the outside, the side that reflects the sun and the heat, and they're black on the inside. So my idea was, I'll just flip those bitches around. I'll put the black on the outside and I'll just cut them to the shape of my window. So I did that, and I've watched YouTube videos, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to do this perfectly. It's just going to fit right in. Nope. I went through a couple of those, and they're not cheap either, man. They're like $12 a pop. I think I spent over $100 in window shades. I could never get the damn thing perfect, the cutout perfect for my windows. I'm talking about my side windows and my back window. And I finally just had to give in and just say, okay, it's not going to be perfect, but it's good enough. And that's actually, like, since I've had that experience, that's actually a philosophy I've come to like. Like, Ryan, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. And then later, after it's functionable, you can work on getting it perfect. But I think a lot of times we just get caught up on trying to make something perfect, and then we just get discouraged because we can't do it perfectly. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So my first night, yeah, where did I stay? So I got this Planet Fitness membership. I've been thinking about doing van life, car life for years, and watching a lot of YouTube videos. And there's like a couple gyms that you can go to throughout the country, like these chain gyms. And I think Planet Fitness is the biggest one. So I went with them, and I bought a membership for, I think it's $25 a month. And it basically, you can go to any gym in the country. And so I wanted to do that because I knew at some point I would be leaving Florida and traveling. And I didn't even have to go into the gym and talk to anybody. I just bought it online. Yeah, so my first night I decided to go to a Planet Fitness there in Naples. It was a big parking lot, like a kind of like a shopping mall. And I didn't really know where to park the car, but then I saw this van. Looked like the dude was living in his van, and he was like parked away from everybody else. Fat, lazy Americans. They're not gonna park more than 20 feet away from the front door if they have to. Fat, fuck, lazy Americans. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is find a space that's more than 20 feet away from the front door, and you're pretty much guaranteed that other people aren't going to want to park there. So I saw this guy in his van. I'm like, yeah, he's living in his van. I could tell he was living in his van. There was a couple other cars there that were looking pretty sus as well. So I went and parked over there. And yeah, this is in the summer in Florida. So the heat is just full on. Humid as fuck. And like I have never spent a summer in America in a humid tropical climate. And so I had to leave my air conditioner running all night. And thank God it's a Prius, because like in a regular car, you're going to have to leave the engine idling all night to run your AC. But in the Prius, which is a hybrid, so it runs on gas and electric, I can run the AC for about 30 minutes before the battery that runs the AC runs out, and then the engine will kick on and recharge the battery. And yeah, that took getting used to, because every time the engine would start to charge the battery, it would kind of jolt the car a little bit. And I remember the first couple nights, like that waking me up and that being a thing. But as time went by, it didn't disturb me, and I got used to it. But anyways, my first night there, I'm in the Planet Fitness parking lot. 3 a.m, some young guys, like a group of them, came and they started racing their cars to the parking lot, and that woke me up. So I had to put up with that. And then in the morning, like around 7:30, I can just feel, like, from the roof and the side of the car that I'm sleeping on, I can just feel this waft of heat just permeating through the car. And it didn't matter that I had the AC on. And it was the sun. It was the morning sun just beaming down on my car. And, cars aren't insulated like a house. So that heat was just soaking in, and the AC was just useless at this point. I mean, it couldn't stand up against this swampish Florida heat. So that's when I learned my first lesson is I've got to park in places where there's shade in the morning that blocks the rising sun in the morning. The next night, I think I was in a La Quinta. Yeah, I went to a La Quinta hotel and I found this really dark spot. I guess the parking lights weren't working because in most hotels you go to, they have the parking lot lit up at night for safety. But this one, in this certain section of the parking lot, the lights weren't working, so I found a nice dark spot that was in the shade, and I was really sweaty, man. I think I'd been doing Uber Eats and just even just being out in that Florida heat, you just like you get soaked. And so I was just really sweaty and grimy. And I wanted to take a shower. And I thought Planet Fitness was 24/7, but this one was like it was like only open on the weekdays. And I guess it was a weekend and I'm just all nasty and I couldn't go take a shower. So I'm like, oh, what can I do? So I had like a jug of water. I got that and I just literally just went into some bushes in the hotel that were like between the swimming pool. There was like a gate around the swimming pool and then it was like covered by bushes. I just went behind those bushes and I stripped down, poured water over myself, and it felt so damn good and refreshing. And I did that, and while I was at it, I took a deuce. I just squatted down and took a deuce. Didn't need toilet paper, just washed myself out with water, the old Japanese way. So I got a shower and a deuce, all in one shot there in the bushes in the La Quinta Hotel in Naples. And just popped out of the bushes, got back into my car, and settled down for the night. There was one other time as well where I took a shower outdoors. And I mean, this is not a big deal to me. I did this all the time in Uganda. But it's a little more challenging in a city. And I mean, it's in Uganda, you can get away with it because like a lot of people do that. When I was in Uganda, I lived in a compound, which means there was a really tall, like 13-foot wall around the property I lived on. So I had privacy. But when I would go on walks at night with my dogs, I would see girls standing out in front of their houses or on the side of their houses, naked, pouring water over themselves. That was how they took their bath every night. So it was common there. But anyway, I got used to that habit as well. But I know in America it's different. Like if somebody sees you naked, pouring water over yourself, Karen's going to call the police and you're going to have like a pedophile charge and be on the sex offenders list for the rest of your life. So yeah, that's something I'm trying to avoid. But yeah, I did end up having to take an outdoor shower one other night on a golf course. I was just, I just worked all day. I was tired. And I found this nice street, which was just lined with trees. And I knew it would be shady in the morning. And so I parked on this street. And I had never done overnight on a street before. I had always done it in parking lots, usually in Planet Fitness parking lots. Yeah, that's when I was living in Florida and I was starting out car life, it was always at a Planet Fitness because besides the weekends, they were open 24 hours a day. So, and I saw other car lifers there as well. And there was one other place, Walmart in Fort Lauderdale on Broward. I think it's called Broward Boulevard. Total ghetto place, man. And I got a ton of stories about spending the nights there as well. But anyways, yeah, it was usually Walmart's. So it was usually Planet Fitness or Walmart. But this one night, I decided to just park on a side street. Never done that before. It was a nice shaded street, quiet neighborhood. And I thought, okay, I'll definitely have shade in the morning and it's quiet here. And right beside me was a golf course. And inside the golf course was a big ass pond or a lake. I don't know what the fuck it was. And I'm feeling so dirty and grimy. You just don't know what that Florida heat is like until you live in it in your car or as a homeless person. You're just constantly wet. You're soaked. It's like you just walked out of a swimming pool with your clothes on. So I'm feeling nasty and sweaty, and I just want to bathe myself in some nice cold water, wash myself off, and feel the relief of being clean before I crawl into the bed in the back of my car. And I get a water jug, but I didn't have any water this time. I just had a water jug, an empty water jug. Walk onto the golf course. I'm walking towards this big ass pond, and I'm like, I don't want to stick my hand in there. Man, because Florida is famous for all its crocodiles and other swamp creatures. I'm like, oh man, what if I stick my hand in there and an alligator bites my hand off? What the fuck am I going to do then without my hand? And I'm just super trepidatious about even sticking. I don't want to stick any hands in there, any limbs. And I'm just like, I gotta take this shower. And I see this Karen walking by. She's walking her dog. It's like 11 at night. And they're walking near the edge of the pond. And I'm like, okay, well, since an alligator didn't jump out of the pond and snatch up the poodle, maybe it's okay for me to stick my hand in there. So I waited until they fucked off. And I walked up to the pond and I stuck my hand in there. And I was just like counting down the seconds. It's like 15 seconds, 15 and 10 seconds. I was safe, filled that water jug up, looked around. It's like 11 o'clock at night, right? So nobody's out there. I ducked behind a tree, but I didn't have full pride. Like if a Karen had tried, and you know how Karens are, they do try to see things. I could have been seen. So I left my shorts. I think I had some swimming trunks on. I'd put some swimming trunks on. I left those on, but other than that, I was naked. And I doused myself with water, cleaned myself off, washed under the swimming trunks as well, got up in all them cracks. And I did it fast because I didn't want Karen to see me. But just in case, you don't want to be stuck in your car at night having to take a deuce, I squatted down real quick, took a quick deuce, and boom, I was out of there. Put a tank top on real fast and walked back to the car. So if you're ever on a golf course and you find a deuce, that was me, bro. All right, guys. Well, those are just some of the stories from the beginning days of car life. It was quite adventurous and quite tough at times. And I got a lot more to talk about. But I'm going to wrap this up for now. And I'll see you in the next one.